Be disciplined daily and use words when you have to. Show others your success through the actions that you do, not the things that you say. So whether someone's trying to be more positive in life or maybe they're trying to start a new business or whatever it is, the thing that I always hear is safety nets. What's my backup plan? And I talk about it all the time. What can I do in parallel? And here's what I'll say today. The biggest safety net that you have, no matter what it is that you do, is discipline. Discipline, if you don't hear anything else in any other episode, what I want you guys to know today is that discipline is the true successor, the true thing in life that you can have to have the most success is discipline. Most people don't have it, and especially self-discipline. I got to get up in the morning, I got to go work out, I don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. Discipline is doing something when you don't have to do it, but you do it like it's your most favorite thing, or you do it anyway. You don't have to do it, but you do it anyway. You don't have anyone else pushing you. It's yourself. It's self-motivation. It's discipline. That is the biggest safety net in life. And here's why that is. It's because if we start down tracks to do something, let's just say that we decide to start our own business. And I'll use my example. And I talked about this early on in season 1, which was starting my own business. And I started shipping containers. So I was driving to the coast every single day. I woke up in the morning at 4 a.m., drove to Seattle. From Spokane to Seattle is roughly 300 miles. Drove there, got a container, drove back every single day. And here's what happened. When I started my own business, I realized to myself, like, there's no option anymore. I have to be disciplined. My family relies on this. I rely on it. Our income relies on it. Everything relies on it. So you found out really quick that there's no safety nets underneath you. The only safety net I had was to be disciplined with myself, to make sure that every single day I got my truck from Spokane, Washington to Seattle and back and delivered a container. I was doing that 5-6 days a week. And it was because I had discipline. A lot of you who've played sports or athletics in the past have had this. You maybe miss a workout and your whole team's holding you accountable. That's what happens whenever you have good discipline and you have a good successful team or a business or whatever it is. The people around you not only are disciplined themselves, but you start holding other people accountable. Discipline is the number one thing that you can have in life for a safety net. It's also the number one thing that's going to drive you and push you forward with whatever you do is when you have discipline and self-motivation. Again, discipline is doing something that you don't want to do, but you do it anyway. So the quick story on why discipline was a safety net for me is, yes, I was driving to the coast every single day. I was picking up containers. I was bringing them back and I was selling them to everyday public. And the reason I quit my other job when I was doing container sales in parallel is because I was just getting phone calls left and right constantly. And I knew I couldn't get enough trips to the coast and back because I was selling more than 6 boxes a week. The port was closed on Sunday. So the safety net for me was I quit my job. I started doing it full time and I was driving to the coast, and it was probably halfway through the first week of doing that, I was getting flooded with phone calls. The phone calls just stopped. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, this is obviously it's a bad situation because I don't have any calls coming in. I'm not making any sales. This is what I rely on. But the discipline in me was look, for the past 3 or 4 weeks, it has been happening. People have been calling. I couldn't get containers fast enough. I know that the phone calls are going to start back up again. So the discipline was that I would wake up in the morning, even though I knew I didn't have a container sold yet, I would go to the coast, get a box, bring it back, drop it off. I'd keep going back and forth to the coast. And the part of you would say, you know what? It would be easy to just quit now. It would be easy to just stop, go get another job and start realizing, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Now, not that that's not a stupidity thing, because there's times where you have to know when to stop. But for me, I knew that I had been getting the phone calls. I knew that the sales were there. So I just kept doing it. And sure enough, I got 2 or 3 boxes back and the phone call started picking back up again. And I was able to sell more because I was disciplined in what I did. I didn't let myself slack off. I didn't let myself just fall back into a hermit hole. I actually just kept doing what I needed to do. That's what discipline is. And we can do that in so many ways in our lives. We can do that when it comes to eating healthy. We can do that when it comes to working out, when it goes to getting to your job every single day, doing repetitive work over and over. You think to yourself like, man, this is just so repetitive. Why am I doing this? It's because I'm disciplined. I know why I need to do it. It's for my family. And maybe that's where you start doing something on the side, is with the discipline that you have. Yes, maybe what you're doing right now is so redundant and repetitive, but you're disciplined enough to say, you know what? I want more. So you do something in parallel. Maybe you start a little side hustle. You do something on your own. It's discipline. I'm going to keep saying that word over and over again because I have to preach it all the time, that is the number one reason for the success of most people. For me, another story I've got of this is every single week, and I think I've told this story once before, but I got a driveway that is it's astronomically steep. I mean, I think this thing is close to it's like a 10% grade going down into my driveway. And it's a long driveway. It's almost 100 something feet. And it's just gravel going all the way down to my house. And every Monday, the trash comes. And the worst thing in the world, quote unquote, is pulling that trash can up to the road every Sunday evening. And I think to myself every single time that I do it, and here's how I look at discipline. Here's how I look at that task. Is what I do is every single Sunday evening as I'm laying in bed, I'm like, man, I forgot to do the trash. I'll just get myself out of bed if I'm already in bed or off the couch, and I just start walking towards the trash can. I don't want to do it, but I'm disciplined enough in my head to say, you know what? If I want to do this, if I want to make sure that and get it done, I don't even give myself the thought of not doing it. I just get myself up and I start walking towards the trash can. Even if I know during that time, like, man, this is going to be a hard task. I don't want to do it. I just get myself up off the couch, out of bed, and I start walking towards the trash can. And that completely changes my mindset. It goes from thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to do it? Or am I just going to tell my wife that I accidentally forgot this week? And then we're just going to pile it all the way up to the top of the trash can. And then come next week, we're going to have stuff that's just overflowing. Then I've got way more stuff to pull up there. But I just start walking towards the trash can. And the second I start walking towards the trash can, my mindset just completely shifts. And I start thinking to myself, okay, not only am I going to do this now, but I'm going to do this. And as I'm going up the driveway, all I can do is envision my kids and wife standing down there at the bottom, watching me pull it up there. And then I start thinking to myself, let's just envision that every kid in America is watching their parent pull that trash can up. Who does it the best? Are they going to stop halfway? Are they going to stop 3/4 way? Are they going to pull it up in one continuous pull? And that's what I start doing to myself. I start putting up these incidences in my head. I start putting up these competitive things in my head, thinking I'm going to do this better than anybody because I owe it to my kids. That's an extreme example, but that is how I discipline myself. Is in every situation that I do, whether it's pulling the trash can up, whether it's starting a business, whether it's taking my kids to soccer practice, when it's like, you know what, it would be really easy tonight to just say, hey, you know what, Lucy's not feeling really good. I'm just not going to take her tonight. But what does that start doing to that kid? It starts making them realize, you know what, mom and dad are just coming up with excuses. And then that's what they start doing. You're setting an example, not only for yourself, but for those who look up to you. Maybe it's not your kids. Maybe it's other people around you at work. Maybe it's people in your family. I don't know who that person is, but other people are looking to you and what you do. Be disciplined. Everything that you do, pretend that you have someone else watching you. I mean, this goes to, I can even think of when I'm at the gym and I'm working out. I think to myself, there could be nobody in there. And I could think to myself, what if my kids or wife are looking through the window right now watching me do these reps? Are they going to be proud of what I'm doing or are they not going to be? What if I had my coach from high school staring through the windows right now watching me? What would they think? That's how I keep myself disciplined. And sure, there's a lot of competitiveness in that. I love being competitive. Anyone around me would tell you that I'm probably one of the more competitive people they know, but that's the mindset that I take on with all this, is that no matter what I'm doing, even if I think nobody's watching me, how disciplined am I going to be? Am I going to cut a corner right now? Or am I going to keep moving forward like I have that coach or that family member, whoever it is watching me? Because when you take that mindset on, when you take that disciplined mindset in and you start engraving, not only does it get engraved in yourself, but it gets engraved in the people around you. Whether you're at work, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's the group circle you're in, whoever it is, discipline is contagious. I can think back to when I was playing in the AFL, and the person knows who they are, but I would go to workouts in the morning every single morning, 7 a.m. workout. And we'd get to the workout, and I can remember driving to the workout, and I'd pick up 4 or 5 guys. And half the time, I'd have to sit outside the apartment waiting on those guys, honking my horn, calling the guys, hey, get out here. You guys need to come down here. But it was the discipline that I set. I wanted to set a standard for those around me, and it started turning into those guys now showing up on time. They're there. They now see me as that person that is disciplined. That's the person, that's the light that I want to shine on everyone around me, is that Taylor will be there. He'll be there on time. I don't necessarily want to be there, but I will be disciplined in what I'm doing and making sure that everybody around me understands and knows that. Discipline, it's the bridge between what you actually want and what you'll actually achieve. A lot of us can sit back and think to ourselves, you know what, this is what I really want for my family. I want a clean house. You know what, this is what I want for my family. I want to have a great income. I want to be doing, you know what, this is what I want for my family. I want to be able to do this, you fill in the blank. Discipline, though, when you really have it and you truly look back, you think to myself, what is discipline? Discipline is the person who actually takes the action and does it. That's what discipline is. I hear this one all the time. Let's talk about business for a second. I hear this all the time from friends or people that I talk to. Is like, you know what? One day I'm going to come up. One day I'm going to have a thing. Here's what I want to do. Sure, it's always going to be that. It will always be a thought process. Here's how I know that. Because the people who are actually disciplined and who want to do something don't talk about it. They don't talk about it whatsoever. They just go and do it. I talked about this a few episodes back. But there are the people who get the satisfaction of them saying, you know what, this is what I want to do with a business one day. And someone says, oh man, that's so great. You can do it. That's fantastic. They just got the satisfaction. They just got the gratification. They felt that. To them, that was the success of starting a business because they felt that feeling. Then they'll never go and do it. Discipline is the person who can think in their own head, say, this is what I want to do, know what they want to do, sets the framework for what has to happen, and actually goes and achieves it. That's a disciplined person. You hear this all the time on sports team. There's a lot of outsiders who look in at a successful team, whether it's college, high school, football, soccer, whatever the sport is. There's people from the outside who look in, who a lot of time are not disciplined. Will look at those teams and be like, man, they have to be driven pretty hard to do what they're doing. But the reality of it is this. The people who are on those teams do not have to be pushed. The people on those teams who are the successful ones and probably the upper 90%ers on that team, they're the ones that are pushing everybody else around them. They have a teammate who didn't make it to a meeting on time. They're knocking on their door after, get your out of bed. Let's get to this meeting. They're the person who says, hey, you weren't at the weight room today. It's not the coaches, it's not the people around them. The disciplined ones are the ones who are pushing the other people around them. Disciplinarians, or people who are disciplined, are the ones who do not have to be driven by other people. They are self-motivated. They are going to do it themselves. So I encourage all of you who are watching this episode today, if you want to be more successful, if you want to have a happier life, if you want to be more positive, if you want to actually take the steps forward, be more disciplined. Be the person who actually speaks with what they do and not just their mouth. Be the person in the room who actually takes action. I used this analogy previously, and I'm going to use it again in kind of a different project. Be disciplined daily and use words when you have to. Be disciplined daily, use words when you have to. Show others your success through the actions that you do, not the things that you say. Hopefully you're able to take something from today and apply it to your everyday life. If so, please hit the like, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, stay sharp and stay resilient.